Hey guys, it's Bill from Calderwood Percussion with another weekly shop update. Coronavirus edition. So the shop is still open, at least as long as we can, because I'm the only person here. So I pretty much have was social distancing here at the Calderwood shop way before it was cool. But yeah, since the overwhelming majority of the time it's just me here working by myself anyway. There's no reason for me to not keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I am still working, and now is a great time to talk to me about some drums that you might be interested in, because if you're stuck inside, what's better than some new drums, right? Some cool stuff to play, but also, for all of us as musicians and performing artists of all kind of ilk, this is pretty brutal. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but all of my gigs are canceled now for like the foreseeable future. My wife, who's a professional ballet dancer, all of her gigs are canceled now for the foreseeable future, and rehearsals and for her, dance classes and everything. All of our teaching has been canceled. We've been actually working on putting together kind of a home studio situation. Ruth has, in what I guess for most people would be a dining room in their house. In our house there's a ballet bar and mirrors and piano and stuff. And she has a place in the house where she can more or less do a ballet class for herself. So we've been working on setting that up to broadcast, and the last couple mornings she's been, broadcasting her ballet bar for her students, and we've been kind of like working on getting that dialed in. And I know a lot of you guys, I've seen a ton of people offering lessons over FaceTime and Skype and stuff, and for those of us who perform and teach, it's just a really, really brutal time, man. Like, we can't do any of our stuff, and for so many of us who are self-employed as performers, or kind of independent teachers, like no income, this is really rough, man. So I feel you, like. The cool thing is I've also heard a lot of fantastic music. Like, so many of my friends have just been like, well, I was supposed to play a gig tonight, and it got canceled, so I guess I'll just play for you. And I've heard a lot of really fantastic solo sets of people just going on Facebook Live and just playing, man. And that, at least for me, is like, I don't know, that's really inspiring to me. It really brightened my day, and I don't know, we just do the best we can, right? Anyway, the point is, I'm still here. I'm still working on stuff now. I also have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old who are cooped up in our house. We live in Boston, in Boston. We have, Dorchester, but for those of you unfamiliar with Boston, it's pretty, it's pretty urban. So we have like a little backyard that the kids can go outside and play. And there's lots of parks around, but like we can't really do that. And so the kids are mostly cooped up either in our house or in our little yard, and so that's pretty rough too. So obviously I've spent a lot more time at home than I normally would, because our childcare situation is non-existent. The kids are just stuck at home all the time. So my wife and I are both, working to keep that fun for them and have activities and school stuff, and but the point of this rambling speech is that I am still trying to spend as much time in the shop as I can while still, taking care of my family and stuff. So if I'm working on stuff for you, I'm still working on it. If you've been thinking about getting some new drums, and you have that money to spend, I could definitely use the work right now, so let's talk. Let me show you what I'm doing. So first of all, these are those 3 U.S. Army drums from World War II. I've done almost all the repairs on the shells, most of the repairs on the hoops. As you can see, this one's getting its hoops refinished in gray. So those are coming along nicely. Here are 3 of the drums for William Diamond. So there's 6 snares like this. This is 3 of them. These are almost ready for reassembly. There's still a little bit more finishing to do on the hoops, and I'm still going over refinishing all the hardware. But they're almost ready to go. There was a deadline on those for some grade, which isn't happening now, but I'm still doing the best I can. For those of you William Diamond folks, I'm still doing the best I can to keep moving on these things so we can get them out and back to you guys as soon as possible. This drum is one of the Hamilton drums. This one just came back home. It's from the tour that is currently in Canada. The head finally, after however many hundreds of shows that this thing has played, the head finally broke. So they sent it back to me to put a new head on. I sent them a loaner in the meantime. So I'm gonna put Swiss Kevlar. All these Hamilton drums have Remo, like the Remo rope tension Kevlar, which is, it's like they're it's not like the White Maxes. It's more pliable. It's kind of like the snare side heads, but it's a 16-inch. They make them. Cooperman commissioned a bunch of these, so they make them for rope drums. But the Swiss Kevlar heads are way better. And since I don't even know if I can get these heads right now, and I have a couple of 16-inch Swiss Kevlar here at the shop, so I'm gonna put a Swiss head on this, and it needs a couple other minor repairs, but overall, for having been out on tour for as long as this thing has, I can't believe what good shape it's in. So thank you, Sam. I don't know if you're watching this, but thank you, Sam, for taking such good care of this drum. You know, I put so much work into these things, and it makes me really genuinely happy to see the instruments being, well, mostly being played. That's the most important thing to me. That's what I really care about, but also being taken care of so nicely. So anyway, it's cool to have one of the Hamilton drums back home, but I'm gonna get this all fixed up and ready to go and back out on the road. I don't know when those shows are gonna open again, but whenever they do, this thing will be ready. What else? Oh, I've got 3 new restoration. Well, they've been sitting in the shop for a while, waiting for me to have time to do it. But 3 new restoration projects that I'm about to start on. This is super cool. This belongs to a friend of mine from high school, Kate Coco, and yeah, this is probably a J.C. Haynes drum. It's like a 10-inch snare drum that was obviously built to be a toy, but like, dude, I've seen like professional adult-sized rope drums that are not built anywhere near as well as this toy drum. This thing is awesome. So it's just old. I mean, but it just needs some love, new rope, new heads, some minor repairs, but. Yeah, I guess it belonged to Kate's grandfather, and she wants to give it to her niece or nephew, maybe? I can't remember what she said, but anyway, I've been sitting on this here at the shop for a while, and I'm excited to finally have time to take this apart and fix it up. This is such a cool little snare drum. I'm really excited to get this thing going. This is an Olympic drum, snare drum. It's a British company. I think Olympic is like was Premier's like entry level or educational series. So anyway, this belongs to Bob Schultz, who is one of the local classical percussionists around here, who's just a fantastic guy and a monster player and a great teacher. So this snare drum does not have snare beds. If you don't know, snare beds are that little scoop out on the bottom. It's like scooped out of the bearing edge where the snares pass through, which allows the snares to lay nice and flat against the bottom head without having to have a ton of tension on them. And basically, with the exception of some snare strainer systems, all snare drums need to have snare beds, but not all snare drums have snare beds. So he brought this to me because it's a cool drum. It was like his first snare drum. But there's just really no way to make it sound good, so I'm gonna fix that. And probably give it a facelift too while I'm at it. So that's actually, I'm pretty excited to work on that. It's a really, really nice shell. So I think this thing's gonna be kick-ass. This belongs to Jonathan Hess, who is he's tempest for Hamlin Hayden, and just a fantastic percussionist and teacher and a great guy. This is a Slingerland Radio King. It's a 13-inch Radio King snare. This thing is super, super cool. He just got this and brought it over and asked me to go ahead and just, take everything apart, clean everything. I'm not going to do any modifications on this. I don't absolutely have to do. It's got a couple of replacement lugs I'm going to try and find, or some original lugs to throw on there. Not that it super matters, but like, it's such a cool drum that's in almost pristine condition. There's no reason to not, So, yeah, I think I'm going to set it up as a small concert snare. These snares aren't original anyway. I think I'm gonna do like some wire wrap silk snares on this. I don't know, just kind of see, maybe put kangaroo heads on it. I don't know. But I'm really excited to get this thing, get it all apart, get it cleaned up, and just, for one thing, for me as an instrument maker, Slingerland Radio Kings to me are kind of like the holy grail. And whenever I have my hands on a drum that sounds that good, there's a lot of studying that I do and measuring and just trying to really carefully kind of analyze and observe everything about the drum that makes it do what it does and why it's so good. So for me, it's not just this is a cool drum. I mean, this is an education right here. Like there's a lot here for me to learn that I'm really excited about. Because I've never really dug in. Like I've seen Radio Kings before, taken them apart and stuff, but just for kind of basic maintenance or something I was doing fast. I've never had the time with one to really take it apart and dig in and like measure everything and look at all this stuff. So I'm super excited to do this. Here's a bunch of hoops. Hoop blanks. These I just finished laminating. You can see the inner plies still. I need to trim these up. This is just 4 sets of what are going to be rope tension snare drum hoops. 2 of these sets are going to my friends at the West Point Hellcats. So I'm excited to be able to send them some stuff. Those guys are awesome. Willie Callahan, one of the guys who plays snare, was my roommate in college. I'm really excited to be doing work for those guys. So yeah, I guess that's about it. This was a pretty rambling shop update, but it's a weird time right now, man. So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna get back to work. Thank you for watching. I hope you're well. Stay safe. Catch you next time.